Welcome to Amaka Intellectual Factory, where I host podcasts and many other interesting stuff. So today I'm going to be reacting to a YouTuber's breakdown of President Trump's plan for America to develop and own Gaza. Let's take a listen.
Yes, today is a very important message, and it's something that they're not speaking enough in social media. Obviously not. Mainstream media is actually probably hiding it from you, and in a surprising way, also scholars who should know, who probably know about the hidden reason behind the outrage of the Arab world over the suggestion of Donald Trump to take Gaza and make it part of the US. The reason is land and Quran, the enforcing of Sharia law over planet Earth and never giving back a piece of land that is already under Sharia. That is the worst thing. It is so bad in their eyes that it's more important than the rivalry between Sunnah and Shia. We'll just bring them back together between how much they hate Israel or love Israel or how much they hate Palestine and their support for terrorism. All these things will suddenly go aside and you'll see they will just line back together. Kick Palestinians out of Israel. No. Keep them there. They're our brothers. We're with them. We're going to go to war for them. And why do you think the Arab world is just shifting his views and his ideas about Palestine when it comes to taking land? Because that is the most important thing, and that is what they're hiding from the West, what they're hiding from you. How much they don't like Palestine and their terrorism, or actually, you know what, they're freedom fighters, they're literally poor people. The only problem is the occupation. Here, listen to this. Saudi Arabian former ambassador to the US.
To the program, you have been digesting what came from the White House last night. You probably heard the view from Ramallah. So is there going to be a united Arab front against this Trump vision?
After hearing Mr. Barghouti, I really don't know what to add to what he said, other than to say that what came out of Mr. Trump is not digestible. A fantasy to think that ethnic cleansing in the 21st century can be condoned by a world community that stays on its behinds and does not respond to that.
You see, only last week, Barghouti was considered a radical terrorist. They don't want him. He's Muslim Brotherhood. He's supported by Iran. We hate him. And now it's Mr. Barghouti. We're all behind him. Very interesting.
Hence, you have United Nations resolutions calling for the quid pro quo of land for peace from 1967 until now. The Arab Peace Initiative, of course, is based on that.
Sorry, the Arab Peace Initiative. The only time Arabs offer peace is when they can't conquer you and destroy you. We've seen that happening over and over. That is literally the story of the Middle East. They did not. The only one that offered peace when they came were the Jews. Hey, let's have peace. Some accepted. The Druze. Great story. Look at the partnership. The Muslim did not accept that, and they tried to annihilate the Jews, and then they tried again and again and again, and then all the Arab nations came together, including Saudi Arabia and others, and tried, and they failed. And that's when they came with the idea of creating Palestine. That is the whole purpose and reason for the creation of Palestine was an idea that, listen, we can't destroy them. What we can do is you can make the world believe that Israeli are the occupier, that they're occupying, because the world care about humanitarian values. Muslim world doesn't. So if we play that tune long enough, they stop believing that Israel is the bad guy. And that is exactly what they're doing here. Now, last week, they were all against Palestine, and now they're all behind Palestine. And that is a great example to show you how the Arab world is fooling the Western world again and again. And that is how Donald Trump, I'm actually genuinely believing that he's starting to see past it. You see, the definition of insanity is repeating the same thing over and over and over and expecting every time a different result. How many times did people in Israel, did the West, did America, did Europe came and thought that they come and bring a peaceful agreement with the Palestinians, with the Muslims, and always it was failed by who? By the Muslims, because that agreement did not include what they really wanted, which is to enforce Sharia law on planet Earth. Start with Israel now, then go back to Spain and other places in Europe, Africa. In the end, also go to America, Canada, Alaska, with the penguins, convert the penguins to Islam. I'm not making this up. You have so many documentaries, so many live interviews with Muslims who are clearly saying that. The most important thing to Islam, way more important than the rivalry between the Shia and the Sunni, or how much they hate Israel, or how much they hate Palestine and the terrorism that they support. Sometimes they're with them, sometimes they're not. More important than all of that is the Quran and land, enforcing Sharia law. And for them, what Donald Trump is offering right now is taking away land from under Sharia law, which is a big haram, which is a big, big thing in the Muslim world. That is a catastrophe. And more than that, they have the fear also, because once, and let's say this plan goes, what do you think is going to happen 25 years from now? Let's say that plan went and Gaza became some kind of Riviera for the US. I can assure you, it's probably going to have very beautiful hotels, very beautiful beaches, maybe a college, universities. It's going to be a great vacation resort where people can come and live in peace, including the Palestinians that are peaceful, ones that want to live there. But what do you think is going to happen if they're going to leave it under Hamas, under Palestine, that made up terrorist entity that came in order to destroy Israel and to trick the world to believe that the bad guys are the good guys, the good guys are the bad guys? I can assure you that 25 years from now, we'll be in the same place. Every 5 to 7 years, we will repeat the same October 7. They'll come and they'll massacre the Jews and they will try to annihilate Israel. And then Israel will go and wipe them out of the map and literally demolish every building in order to bring back their children, because they don't want to give back their children. And that story is going to repeat itself again and again. And that is why also the Muslim world is afraid, because, oh shit, crap. If that really works, and 5 years from now, everybody's going to look and say like, wow, look what happened. Palestine, Gaza became Singapore. I guess there's something working for the Christians and the Jews. I guess there is a problem with Islam. They don't want to admit that. They don't want to deal with that. But on the other hand, they also don't want to lose their card, which is the card to delegitimize Israel and help them enforce the Sharia law on planet Earth. So like I said, these are the things that Western media is probably not going to tell you, but that's why I'm here, to come and help you understand these things and see them inside out from the Arab perspective, because it's all about land and it's all about conquering the world. The Western world have abandoned, the Christian empire have abandoned that idea of conquering the world. Countries became democracies. They have their own right. They can live however they want, as long as they live and let live. Islam never really abandoned that vision. The days of Salah ad-Din, the golden days of Islam, that we will go and conquer the world, and they still want to do that. And the only reason they're not doing that is because they can't. So the only time they'll be talking to you about peace is only because they can't come and destroy you. This is a fact. Try to challenge me. I'm telling you right now, if planet Earth, in a snap of a finger, had become weaker than the Muslims, they will take over planet Earth in a day. Take, convert everyone, force, kill, behead, and just make everybody go under Sharia law. Men will be killed or converted. Women, they don't ask them. They just make them sex slaves. Children as well, they don't ask that. And they will enforce Sharia law on planet Earth. That is ABC of Islam. And that is why sometimes I'm so fed up seeing all kind of these influencers like Divinity. Having an influencer speaking about Middle Eastern conflicts and about history is like putting a monkey with a banana in front of a camera. They get excited, they say a lot of things, but it makes no sense. And with all due respect, go back to playing computer games. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And until then, don't do anything stupid. That's actually a mug from Gaza, if I'm not wrong.
This guy has touched on one aspect of history that if you don't study anything in history at all, you must study this. And that is what a lot of academic and personal historians like to classify as the Islamic expansionist agenda. We are so distracted by the bread and circuses of fast food and social media that we don't realize how much of our present day experience is a continuation of our bloody and traumatizing history with Hamitic people. Again, if you want to really understand this world, you have to study the occult, ancient history, and modern history. It's the same group of people destroying the world. They just changed their names. The problem is not Islam. I went to school with Yoruba Muslims, and let me tell you, these Yoruba Muslim men are some of the most gentlemen I have ever interacted with. I don't have one single story, not one single story of being disrespected by any of these Yoruba Muslim men. This is my story. I spent about 7 years in constant contact in school with these Yoruba Muslim men. 7 years. And I don't have one single story of them disrespecting me. If at all anything, they were always protective of me. These are Yoruba Muslim men that are devout Muslims, but they were very respectful and very intelligent. You don't see Yoruba Muslims carrying cows, invading people's farms and destroying their crops. When you observe male pedophilia among Yoruba men, it is not a Yoruba Muslim thing. It cuts across Yoruba men of all faith. If you study Islamic law, you will be blown away by the high intellectualism and advanced knowledge in Islam. I'm not advocating for Islam. I'm just saying that based on my own independent studies, the problem is not Islam. We are not dealing with an Islamic expansionist agenda per se. Rather, we are dealing with a Hamitic expansionist agenda. Now, you can choose to call them Afro-Asiatics or even Arabs, but we are talking about the same people. Over time in history, many of them have taken up different identities all over the world. Every African with a good sense of discernment that met Black America's Pan-Africanist movements, especially the one that died out in 2016, will learn about a group of Black men that call themselves Moors. The average African in Africa is not aware of this. I wasn't when I was in Africa. I am of the opinion that there was a time in ancient history that these people controlled and dominated the whole world. The whole world was under their yoke. When Nigerians or Ghanaians talk about Islamic expansionist agenda, it is still these same Hamitic people we are talking about. Everybody has experienced slavery under these people, including white people. Hopefully in the near future, I will talk about these Moors in Europe. California is named after a Black woman who was a major sorcerer. Her name is Khalifa. Doesn't that sound like the Muslim title, Caliph? The whole point of this video is that I strongly believe that we are not properly identifying the problem when we call it an Islamic expansionist agenda. Because in reality, it is actually a Hamitic or Afro-Asiatic or Arabic expansionist agenda. Well, that's all I have to say for now. Until next time, take care of your lovely selves. And remember, life is beautiful and worth living.